the brand new Pokemon main series game Z-A is going to be coming out on October 16th, which is applicable to Pokemon Go because there's new Megas being introduced. With that said, we're going to go over the top Megas that have been introduced, what those Pokemon are looking like, as well as some of the speculations and what we might see coming into the game, because there's been 8 released so far, but that doesn't mean that there's not going to be more in the future when this game is released, and even more as DLC add-ons. So let's get into the details. Welcome to the Trader Club. Here we go. You guys have to let me know in the comments below, what do you guys think about this video as far as my speculations, and what do you guys anticipate coming into the game? So let's go over the first released Mega Evolution in this game, which is going to be Mega Dragonite. The design of the Mega Dragonite is not my favorite. Also, I think that it could have been a bit different. However, with this, the wings go from the back kind of, ears to on top of the head, and this Pokemon is currently maxing out in Pokemon Go at 4287 at the 100% IV. This Pokemon is a dragon and a flying type Pokemon. So here's some of the redeeming qualities that I think could bring about some awesome things for this Pokemon. Well, number one, it would be great if the shiny didn't go to green, maybe went to blue, or maybe went to pink like the Dragonair and the Dratini. There was great opportunity for them to have an amazing colored shiny. I don't mind the Dragonite shiny, I just feel like it could be better. So if this shiny went into the blue like Dratini as well as Dragonair, that would be amazing looking. Number two, I think that it needs to have a typing combination switch up to not make it kind of redundant, because there's plenty of dragon and flying types, including, as Megas currently right now, we do have Rayquaza, which is extremely strong, and the Salamence, which if it does maintain, which it more than likely will, it will probably be this typing, but it would be great to see this Pokemon make a shift to have a slightly different typing in the game and make it a little bit more viable from a differentiation standpoint. Then, the next Pokemon we saw was Mega Hawlucha. This Pokemon, really cool. In Pokemon Go, it's maxing out at 2724, so it will not be one of the top Pokemon in either its respective categories because it has to go up Rayquaza for the flying type, and for the fighting type it has to go up against Lucario. I do anticipate that it would maintain its fighting and its flying type combination based on its look, and that is good news because this would be a great combination of dual typing to have in the game, because remember, in Pokemon Go, not only are we fighting with these, but the Megas at the Mega level 3 will yield us additional Candy and Candy XL in the respective categories, and having a fighting and a flying type in one Pokemon is going to be advantageous for us, which then is going to lead us to the Mega Victory Bell. Victory Bell will max out at 2748 currently in Pokemon Go. It is going to be a poison and a grass typing, which shares the same typing as the Mega Venusaur. I would love it if they changed up the typing as far as its applicability in Pokemon Go. It's not going to be breaching any of the top charts for either of its respective categories, but it does have hope that if it does change in typing, and it's a unique typing that we haven't had in the game for the Mega level 3, similar to as the Hawlucha is, that would be very beneficial for us. And before we go into the starters, let's talk about the Raichu. Okay, so for Raichu, it's going to get an X and a Y form. Currently in the game, it maxes out at 2467, which is awesome. But this does take us into what will the X and the Y combination be? Well, for me personally, the Y, when we're looking at Mega Mewtwo and we're looking at Mega Charizard, maintains the same typing as the regular if it does follow this pattern, which would mean the Mega Raichu Y would just be a pure electric typing, which then brings us to the Electric X, which typically we see as a different type of combination. The Charizard, the X, is going to be the fire as well as the dragon, and then the Mewtwo is going to be the fighting and the psychic. So for the X in the Raichu, I'm thinking it's going to be a flying and an electric type. Let me know what you guys think. This Pokemon will not be the most applicable Pokemon in Pokemon Go, but it is a cool Pokemon at that. Gives a little bit more use to the Pikachu family, in my opinion, and then also it's a cool dual type to Mega that hopefully will yield some cool combination. Or we could also see this Pokemon pick up something like a Psychic and Electric type, just from speculation, which will then lead us into the most anticipated, some of my favorite ones, which is going to be the Mega Starter Evolutions, which is going to be Delphox, Greninja, and Chesnaught. All of them are relatively unique typings. When looking at Delphox, this Pokemon is going to be a Fire and a Psychic combination, which I anticipate it to maintain its typings as well. I would suggest and hope that all of these Pokemon maintain their typings, and the application into Pokemon Go is great dual typing Pokemon. They could not maybe breach the tops, but they could. However, they are going to have these unique typings, which is great. The Chesnaught is going to be the grass and the fighting combination, and the Greninja is going to be the dark and the water type combination, which would be great to see in Pokemon Go, except for the Greninja, because that one in specific would not really work because we already have that typing. But imagine water and flying, since it looks like the Greninja is kind of flying type Pokemon with how it is presented in the Megas. Right now, Greninja in Pokemon Go maxes out at 3001. The Delphox maxes out at 3459. The Chesnaught maxes out at 3340. So with those Pokemon, we'll see what they do. They could be some of the top budget counters in the game. I might anticipate here. For some reason, I always forget Malamar as a Mega coming into the game. So this Pokemon is a Psychic and a Dark typing, okay? So this Pokemon is currently maxing out at 2,667, and it is below the already Mega Houndoom that's out, which is a Dark typing. And then also remember, it is going to be a Dark and a Psychic type combination. So while cool looking Pokemon, unique, it's got two Pokemon. Number one, Psychic, which is going to be Mewtwo, at some point will come out. That's going to be extremely strong. And then number two, Dark typing, which already looks like we have a stronger Pokemon in the game than this. But the Psychic and the Dark type is a great unique combination for Mega Level 3 for us to yield candy when catching during specific events. Which is then going to end all of the officially announced Pokemon. Remember, this game does come out on October 16th. My speculation, and what I've seen and what I hope is going to come out, is going to be Mega versions of Xerneas, Yveltal, which, if this happens, I do hope that Xerneas picks up a secondary typing, maybe a fairy and a ground type combination. Yveltal is a dark and a flying type combination, which would work out really well for Pokemon Go. These Pokemon are extremely strong and would be awesome to see in the game. And then finally, there's anticipation that Mega Zygarde would be making its way into Pokemon Go. As of right now, this is a ground and a dragon type Pokemon. I would love to see this Pokemon pick up an additional typing and maybe drop off the ground, because we already have the Garchomp that's out there that is the exact same typing of the dragon and the ground. So it would be awesome to see if this Pokemon picked up something like dragon and fighting. It kind of does look like a fighting type Pokemon. That would be amazing for Pokemon Go, amazing for the dual typing, and would really breach some of the top spots in the game. As of right now, those are the only three speculations that I see that I'm confident to say to add into the game. Let me know what you guys think might be coming into Pokemon Go and obviously into the main series, and how it would affect this game. Both Xerneas and Yveltal max out at 3275, so wow, that could be powerful. All right, guys, that's gonna do it for what's in there, what's to come potentially, and what we might see affected into Pokemon Go and how those Pokemon will stack up. So thank you guys for tuning in. I'm gonna see you out on the next video. Peace.